Welcome back to Little English Studio, where we journey across the world to uncover stories hidden in stone, sea, and time, told in clear, beautiful English for learners and dreamers alike. Today, we set sail to a small island in the Pacific, to a place where history and ocean winds meet, the old capital of Fiji, Levuka. Nestled on the eastern coast of Ovalau Island, Levuka might look like a quiet seaside town today. But a century and a half ago, this was the heart of Fiji's first encounters with the modern world, a place where European sailors, Pacific Islanders, traders and missionaries all crossed paths. The waves that crash on Levuka's coral reefs once carried ships loaded with sandalwood, coconuts and dreams of fortune. Levuka began in the early 19th century as a tiny settlement of British and American traders seeking resources in the South Pacific. The local Ovalau people welcomed them, and together they created a town unlike any other in the islands. Wooden houses lined the beach, stores were built on stilts to protect them from high tides, and narrow lanes connected homes, churches and taverns. Soon, Levuka became Fiji's first real port town, and the centre of change. By the mid-1800s, missionaries from the London Missionary Society had arrived, bringing Christianity to the islands. Around the same time, European settlers came seeking land and power. This mix of cultures, indigenous Fijian traditions, Western religion and commerce, gave Levuka its unique identity. In 1874, something historic happened here. The deed of cession was signed in Levuka, marking the moment when Fiji officially became a British colony. That signature changed the future of the entire nation. Walking through Levuka today feels like stepping into another time. The town's simple wooden houses, whitewashed walls and iron roofs tell stories of its colonial past. Many of these buildings were constructed in the late 1800s, and remarkably most still stand. The Sacred Heart Cathedral, built by French Marist missionaries, rises gracefully above the shoreline. Its tall spire points to the sky like a beacon of history. Across the street, the Royal Hotel, which opened in 1860, is said to be the oldest continuously operating hotel in the South Pacific. Inside, you can almost imagine the laughter and conversation of sailors and traders who once gathered here after long journeys at sea. What makes Levuka so special is not grand monuments or royal palaces, but rather its authentic atmosphere. Every wooden balcony, rusted sign, and cobblestone lane has survived storms, wars, and modernization. The town's layout follows the curve of the coastline, squeezed between the ocean and steep green hills. It feels intimate, like a secret pocket of the past preserved by nature itself. Levuka's strength lies in its people, the descendants of Fijian chiefs, British settlers, Polynesian migrants, and traders from around the world. Generations have grown up by the sea, fishing, crafting, and celebrating life through song and dance. Despite modernization across Fiji, Levuka remains a small community of only a few thousand residents. Locals are proud of their heritage. They maintain traditional ceremonies known as meek, where music, storytelling, and movement combine into a celebration of identity. The sound of drums and chants echoes through the hills during festivals, reminding everyone that while time moves forward, roots run deep. In 2013, UNESCO recognized Levuka as a World Heritage Site, not for monumental architecture, but for its living history. The designation celebrates Levuka as an outstanding example of a late colonial port town that illustrates the integration of indigenous and European traditions. This means that Levuka represents a unique cultural landscape, where the global story of colonialism met local adaptation. Unlike many colonial cities that erased native identity, Levuka absorbed it. Fijian customs shaped the town's rhythm, local architecture merged with Western influence, community life continued side by side with global change. UNESCO's recognition also brought new efforts to preserve Levuka's fragile heritage. The old buildings face challenges from tropical storms, sea level rise, and the slow decay of time. But restoration work continues, led by local craftsmen who use both traditional materials and modern methods to protect the town's legacy. Every morning, the sea is the first sound Levuka hears. Fishermen head out before sunrise, paddling small wooden boats into the deep blue. Children walk to school along the waterfront road, waving to neighbors and stopping by small shops for snacks. The air smells of salt, flowers, and coconut oil. Unlike bustling cities, Levuka moves at its own peaceful pace. Here, life follows the tide. The ocean provides not only food but also identity. It's part of every song, legend, and conversation. People say the waves remember stories. Perhaps they do, stories of ancient voyagers who sailed by the stars, or of the first British settlers who dropped anchor here, or even of the quiet strength that keeps Levuka standing through every storm. Levuka also played a key role in education. The first public school in Fiji, known as Levuka Public School, was founded here in 1879. It welcomed children of all backgrounds, Fijian, European, Chinese and part European families. This made Levuka one of the first truly multicultural communities in the South Pacific. In its classrooms, the English language mingled with Fijian and Hindi. Lessons about geography, religion and commerce prepared young students for a future where Fiji would stand proudly as an independent nation. It's fascinating to think that from this tiny port town, the seeds of modern Fiji's education and national identity were planted. In 1882, the capital of Fiji was moved from Levuka to Suva, on the larger island of Viti Levu. The official reason was geography. Levuka's steep mountains limited expansion, and there wasn't enough flat land for government buildings or growing trade. But for Levuka's residents, the decision was a heartbreak. The town that once held the nation's future slowly returned to its humble rhythm, yet losing its title as capital may have been a blessing in disguise, because Levuka was never heavily modernized. Its old streets, colonial houses, and community spirit remained intact. Today, that very authenticity is what makes it priceless. While Suva grew into a bustling metropolis, Levuka kept its soul. Travelers who visit Levuka today describe it as a journey into another century. The main street, Beach Street, still runs along the water, lined with heritage buildings, small cafes, and souvenir shops. You can visit the old post office, walk to the Mission Hill lookout for a panoramic view of the ocean, or chat with friendly locals at the market. There's also the Levuka Museum, which preserves old photographs, ship logs, and relics from the 1800s. The museum's wooden floors creak as you walk, a sound that feels like history itself speaking softly under your feet. Outside, the hills are covered in lush rainforest, and small waterfalls feed into the town's freshwater streams. Ecotourism is growing here, but carefully. The community is cautious about overdevelopment. They want visitors, but they also want to protect what makes Levuka special, its quiet beauty and historical charm. Many travelers say Levuka feels like a living open-air museum, but with heart and warmth that no exhibit can capture. Levuka's story is part of something larger, the story of the Pacific Islands themselves. It reflects how cultures adapt, survive, and find harmony even amid great change. The people of Levuka continue to prove that small towns can hold big histories, and that true heritage isn't just about stone and buildings, but about memory, resilience, and belonging. As the sun sets over Ovalau, the horizon glows gold, and the sea shimmers like molten glass. The town lights flicker on, soft, warm, and alive. It's easy to imagine the ghosts of old sailors watching the shore, smiling at how time has treated this place gently. Levuka remains, as it always has been, a bridge between past and present, between island and ocean, between humanity and the wild beauty of nature. Thank you for sailing with us through the story of Levuka, the heart of Fiji's history and spirit of the Pacific. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who love learning about the world's heritage in simple English. Join us next time on Little English Studio as we explore another wonder of our beautiful planet. One story, one culture, one heartbeat at a time.